Hey everyone, welcome back to Yusuf Reacts. Today, we're diving into the third installment of the Twilight Saga, Eclipse, released in 2010. If you're a fan of vampires, werewolves, and epic love triangles, you're in for a treat. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and let's get started. Directed by David Slade, Eclipse continues the saga of Bella Swan, Edward Cullen, and Jacob Black. As Bella faces new challenges, the stakes get higher with a rising threat from a vampire army and the complex dynamics of her love triangle. In Eclipse, Bella is torn between her love for vampire Edward and her deep bond with werewolf Jacob. As the Cullen family prepares for a fierce battle against an army of newborn vampires led by the vengeful Victoria, Bella must make crucial decisions about her future. The movie explores themes of choice, loyalty, and the struggle between love and duty. One of the highlights of Eclipse is the development of its characters. Bella Swan, played by Kristen Stewart, faces her inner conflicts more than ever as she navigates her feelings for both Edward and Jacob. Robert Pattinson's portrayal of Edward shows his internal struggle with the idea of Bella becoming a vampire. And Taylor Lautner's Jacob brings emotional depth and a sense of urgency to his role. Visually, Eclipse delivers with some impressive special effects, especially the scenes involving the vampire army and the werewolf transformations. The action sequences are more intense, and the film's dark, moody atmosphere complements the story's tone. Eclipse delves into the complexities of relationships and personal choices. It's not just about the supernatural elements but also about the emotional stakes for each character. The film portrays Bella's growth and the impact of her choices on those around her. As a string of mysterious killings grips Seattle, Bella, whose high school graduation is fast approaching, is forced to choose between her love for vampire Edward and her friendship with werewolf Jacob. Bella once again finds herself surrounded by danger as Seattle is ravaged by a string of mysterious killings, and a malicious vampire continues her quest for revenge. In the midst of it all, she is forced to choose between her love for Edward and her friendship with Jacob, knowing that her decision has the potential to ignite the struggle between vampire and werewolf. With her graduation quickly approaching, Bella is confronted with the most important decision of her life. In Seattle, not far from Forks, Victoria Bryce Dallas Howard attacks and bites Riley Beer's Savior Samuel, in order to begin creating an army of newborns with her. Back in Forks, Edward Cullen, Robert Pattinson, and Bella Swan, Kristen Stewart discuss the complications of becoming an immortal vampire. At 18 years old, 1 year older than the age Edward was when he became a vampire, Bella expresses her aversion to the idea of marrying so young, though Edward refuses to turn her into a vampire until they are married. His argument is that she should have various human experiences she would otherwise miss. Charlie encourages Bella to talk to Jacob, who is going through a tough time. Bella wants to go and meet Jacob, but Edward has disabled her pickup truck, stating that the wolves have no control. Bella's friends at school include Jessica Anna Kendrick, Mike Newton, Michael Welch, Angela Weber, Christian Serratos, and Eric Yorkie, Justin Chon. The Cullens include Edward, Alice Ashley Green, Rosalie Nikki Reed, Jasper Jackson Rathbone, Carlisle Peter Fasinelli, Emmett Kellen Lutz, and Esma Elizabeth Reeser. The werewolves include Jacob, Sam Yulee Chase Spencer, Quill Tyson Houseman, Embry Kiowa Gordon, Leah Julia Jones. The only female werewolf, Seth Boo Boo Stewart, Jacob's friend and Leah's brother. Billy Black Bill Birmingham is a Quileute elder and Jacob's physically disabled father. Emily Tinsel Corey is Sam's fiancée. In school, Alice has a vision of Victoria creating an army of newborn vampires to attack Cullens and then Bella. Edward knows that if Victoria continues on her killing spree, sooner or later it will attract the attention of the Volturi, who will also find out that Bella is not converted yet. Edward asks Bella to be away from Forks by visiting her mother Renee Sarah Clark in Florida. Bella admits to Renee that she is in love with Edward. Renee gifts Bella a quilt that she made from covers of old t-shirts which represented their shared memories of the past. While Bella and Edward are away, the Cullen family hunts for Victoria. Victoria tries to escape by jumping into wolf territory, but there the werewolves pursue her. But Victoria manages to escape by crossing between vampire and wolf territory and getting them to fight each other. Bella and Edward return to Forks and Jacob meets Bella at school. Jacob tells Bella about Victoria's attack and how Emmett set foot on wolf territory. This was the reason why Edward took Bella out of town, as Alice knew the timing of Victoria's attack. Bella is livid to learn that Edward lied to her and goes with Jacob. Jacob reveals that Sam used to be with Leah, but then fell in love with Emily. Jacob explains that Sam imprinted on Emily. Jacob explains that imprinting is not something voluntary and it happens on its own. After imprinting, nothing else matters. Jacob says that he has not imprinted on anyone. Jacob is livid when Bella says that she will marry Edward after graduation. While Charlie Swan Billy Burke investigates the disappearance of Riley Beers. Edward suspects his disappearance was caused by the newborn vampires. Furthering his suspicions is Riley's intrusion into Bella's room. Although Edward fears for her safety, Bella insists that Jacob Black Taylor Lautner and the rest of the werewolf pack would never harm her, but Edward is still not convinced. But on Bella's insistence, he agrees to a shared protection detail between Cullens and the werewolves to keep an eye on Bella's house. Jacob takes Bella to a meeting of the tribe elders where Billy tells the history of the Quileute. Billy says that the Quileute was a small tribe with the ability to shape-shift into wolves. One day, they came across a cold one, a creature that survived on the blood of humans. The Quileute attacked and tore it apart at the loss of the chief's son, but only fire could destroy a cold one completely. The mate of the cold one attacked the village and the chief Taha Aki was the only spirit warrior left. The mate was about to defeat Taha Aki when his wife stabbed herself to distract the vampire mate and allowed Taha Aki to kill her. Billy says that the magic of the tribe awakens when the vampires are near, and he can sense that a big battle is coming. Meanwhile, Victoria and Riley now have an army of newborns. The escalating murders and disappearances are widely reported in the news and attract the attention of the Volturi. The Cullens tell Bella that newborns are in their first few months after conversion. This is when they are the most uncontrollable, vicious and insane with thirst for blood. Edward suspects that the army would be the work of Aro, who wanted Edward and Alice to join him. But he knew that this would never happen till the Cullens family was still alive. Edward again counsels Bella against conversion and says that immortality is a curse. She would have to see everyone she loves die with the passage of time. Bella tries to straddle the thin line separating Edward and Jacob. She tries to spend time with both and even invites Jacob to Alice's graduation party. Bella goes to La Push to see Jacob and returns home unharmed. Jacob tries to explain that he wants Bella to choose between him and Edward. He says that with him, Bella would not have to change and can have a normal life. Jacob is adamant that he can give Bella more than Edward. During one of her visits, Jacob confesses that he is in love with Bella and forcefully kisses her. Furious, she punches him and sprains her hand, and Edward later threatens Jacob and tells him to only kiss her if she asks him to. Bella even revokes the invitations of Jacob and his pack members to Alice's graduation party. But when Jacob apologizes for his behavior, she forgives him. Rosalie talks to Bella and tries to convince her not to turn into a vampire as it would solve nothing. She says that she had a perfect life as a human but was sexually assaulted by her boyfriend Royce King to Jack Huston and his mates on one of their drinking get-together. She was left in the street for dead and Carlisle found her when he smelled the blood. She was turned into a vampire by Carlisle to save her life. She took revenge on the ones who assaulted her, but had regretted her life as a vampire ever since. The Volturi reach Seattle and is led by Jane. Jane knows that Alice is monitoring Aro. So, she has to decide whether to let the newborns do what they were created for, or to end them. Bella's class graduates from high school. Meanwhile, Alice sees a vision that the newborn army is attacking Forks led by Riley Beers. Jacob, accompanied by Quill and Embry overhear this, which leads to an alliance between the Cullens and Wolf Pack. Edward agrees as the wolves can provide more protection for Bella. Alika knows that the Cullens alone will not be able to face the newborn army. Later, the Cullens and the wolves agree to a meeting place and time to train and discuss strategy. Carlisle explains that vampires are most powerful during the first 7 months of their conversion from a human being. Jasper says that newborns crush by getting their arms around their target. And they always expect an obvious kill attack, so the attackers have to improvise to defeat them. During the training, Jasper explains to Bella that he was created by a vampire named Maria Catalina Sandino Moreno to control a newborn army. Jasper was in the Confederate Army during the Civil War. He was the youngest major in Texan cavalry when he met Maria. Maria chose Jasper to lead and train her newborn army to gain territory in the South. Jasper was her second in command and trained her newborns. Maria never allowed the newborns to live beyond their first year, and it was Jasper's job to dispose them. Jasper thought he loved Maria, but she controlled him. He hated his original existence and upon meeting Alice, joined the Cullens with her. Bella realizes that Victoria is behind the newborn army. Riley is Victoria's puppet, just as Jasper was to Maria. Meanwhile, Victoria manipulates Riley to attack the Cullens by saying that she wants a future together for them without the threat of the Cullens. Jacob tells Bella that he let Sam be the alpha male of the tribe, even though he had defeated Sam in battle. Jacob says that Bella can always love more than one person and says that he knows how he makes Bella feel physically. The vampires pick Jacob to hide Bella in the mountains as they know he will hide Bella's scent with his own musk. The vampires go for a hunt, leaving Edward and Bella alone in the Cullen house for the night. Charlie tries to have the talk with Bella before she leaves, but Bella says that Renee beat him to it 10 years ago. That night, Bella wants to have sex with Edward, but he would not do anything that would risk injuring or killing Bella. Bella says that she wants to have sex with Edward before she converts to a vampire. Edward starts but then resists his urges. Edward says that he would only have sex with Bella after they get married. Instead, Edward gets down on one knee and proposes to Bella. Bella sees the true bond between a mated vampire pair and begins to understand Jasper better. Despite her reluctance to marry, Bella realizes that spending eternity with Edward is more important to her than anything else and agrees to marry him. Edward and Bella camp up in the mountains to hide Bella from the bloodthirsty newborns, with Jacob as their chaperone to mask Bella's scent. The mountain is hit by a storm at night and Bella gets really cold even inside her tent. Despite Edward's reluctance, he allows Jacob to get close to Bella as Jacob has a much higher body temperature. During the night, Bella overhears a conversation between Edward and Jacob, in which they temporarily put aside their hatred towards each other. Jacob says that while Bella loves Edward, she loves him too. Edward admits that Jacob can give Bella a human life and says that he will never force her into anything ever again. Edward says that if Bella changes her mind, he will respect her decision. In the morning, Jacob overhears Edward and Bella discussing their engagement and storms off, angrily. Bella desperately asks him to kiss her, and she realizes that she has fallen in love with him. Edward finds out about the kiss but is not upset, as Bella says she loves him more than Jacob. The attack of the newborns starts. Victoria finds Edward's scent in the mountains and attacks him and Bella with Riley. Edward tries to convince Riley that Victoria only chose him as he is from Forks and knows the area, otherwise she doesn't care about him. Victoria attacks to stop Edward from changing Riley's mind. Seth removes Riley's hand in a single blow and Victoria turns to escape. Edward taunts Victoria into battle by reminding her how easily he killed James. Victoria is enraged and attacks. Riley fights off Seth and joins Victoria to overwhelm Edward. Bella cuts her hand, and her blood scent drives Victoria and Riley mad. This was the distraction Edward needed to break free. Seth returns and kills Riley, while he begs Victoria for help. Victoria ignores Riley and attacks Edward, who kills her. Edward sets Victoria's body on fire. The Cullens and the Quilute wolves, meanwhile, destroy her army. Though Jacob is injured saving Leah Clearwater, daughter of Jacob's tribe elder Harry. She became a werewolf at the death of her father. When Jacob said that Charlie was preparing for a funeral, he had meant for Leah's father Harry from a newborn. Several members of the vampire police, the Volturi, arrive to deal with the newborn army. They also see that the Cullens are guarding the newborn, Bree Tanner Jodelle Furland, who had refused to fight and surrendered to Carlisle. Jane Dakota Fanning tortures Bree to get information, then instructs Felix Daniel Cudmore to kill her, despite the Cullens' efforts to spare her. When Jane notes that Caius and Anara will find it interesting that Bella is still human, Bella informs her that the date for her transformation has been set. Bella visits the injured Jacob to tell him that even though she is in love with him, she has chosen to be with Edward. Saddened by her choice, Jacob reluctantly agrees to stop trying to come between her and Edward. Bella and Edward go to their meadow, where she tells him she has decided to do things his way. Get married, make love, then be transformed into a vampire. The date decided is August 13th, a month before her 19th birthday. Alice will plan the entire wedding. She also explains that she never has been normal and never will be. She's felt out of place her entire life, but when she is in Edward's world she feels stronger and complete. They decide they need to tell Charlie about their engagement. So, what do you think of Eclipse? Did it meet your expectations? Are you Team Edward or Team Jacob? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's chat about it. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.